Donald Trump and his campaign went mask off at MSG, revealing who they truly are. Oh, wait. They've been doing this since Donald Trump went down the escalator, and probably even before that. We here at the MeidasTouch Network have been documenting each and every one of the stops that Donald Trump's been going on, really since 2020 when MeidasTouch was founded. But even after Donald Trump lost in spectacular fashion in the 2020 election, he's been campaigning ever since. I mean, his first rally that he did after losing in 2020 was in Waco, Texas, on the 30th anniversary of the Waco siege, where he had people like Ted Nugent go up on stage and call President Zelensky a homosexual, among other things, when then Donald Trump took the stage and saluted the January 6th insurrectionists and played a new version of the national anthem. And Donald Trump's been going around over the past several weeks calling the United States of America a trash can. He says America is garbage. So is it truly a surprise that Donald Trump's speaker would also refer to American citizens as garbage? It should shock the conscience. It certainly does here. We're not numb to that at the MeidasTouch Network, but there was something about this Madison Square Garden event, perhaps under the bright lights of one of the biggest or most famous arenas in the history of the United States of America in New York. It should be noted. I mean, Vice President Kamala Harris had significantly more people at her Houston event than there are seating capacity in Madison Square Garden, but perhaps it's the bright lights of New York City. Perhaps it's the fact that, Donald Trump essentially was saying, look, I'm trying to tell you how horrible I am and what I want to do, but it got a lot of attention. I want to give a hat tip to our editors and our editorial team led by Ron Filipkowski. And we got people like Asen. Asen was the first to get out that clip of that speaker at the beginning who was saying those horrific racist things. But it wasn't just that one speaker who said that Puerto Rico was a garbage can or a floating trash of whatever. It wasn't just that he attacked the Latino community and said horrific, just blatantly vile and racist things. Every speaker, one by one, they went up there and they said similar things like that. Then Donald Trump took the stage and talked about bringing back laws from the 1700s, which is what he says he wants to do. He says he wants to have bloody mass deportation operations, he says, on day one, putting people in camps. He says it's going to be bloody. And he says he's going to invoke laws from the 1700s because he says that's when America was best. And the laws were most effective during slavery in the 1700s. So we'll break all of this down, and then we'll show you the contrast, as we always do, with Vice President Kamala Harris. And she's running a campaign that's built on enthusiasm, energy, taking the nation forward, and policy. And she's talking about everything from tax credits to investing in childcare for American people, to expanding healthcare opportunities, to making education more affordable. One of the wild split screens is as Donald Trump surrogates were spewing vile anti-Puerto Rican rhetoric. You had Vice President Kamala Harris actually just by coincidence that day, but it's not really necessarily by coincidence because Trump's always doing vile things and she's always building, out opportunities. She was at a restaurant owned by a Puerto Rican family laying out her agenda of how to help Puerto Rican businesses grow. So we'll break it all down here on the MeidasTouch podcast. I'm Ben Meiseles. We've got Brett and Jordy. And again, I just want to say it at the outset, that was Asen who had that clip ready to go. It's gotten, I don't know, by the time of this live, 55, 60 million views. If you added across everywhere, Bad Bunny's, all these people posted it. So it's probably been viewed close to 1 billion times now, really. But, it is important that we remain vigilant. And that's what we're going to do over the coming days.
Yeah, our clippers did a great job. Our researchers did a fantastic job. And just what a weird event. Like, we knew it was going to be bizarre going into it. You never know quite exactly what direction it's going to go in. But they just decided for this one, we're just going to go hate hate, hate, hate. It's going to be like a celebration of hate. And that is what we saw at Madison Square Garden. And truthfully, it really breaks my heart being, a New Yorker, being from New York, to see the Garden, such an iconic place, used that way. Something that was, reminiscent of the 1930s when there were Nazi rallies held in the Garden. And that was a shame that the Garden has carried with it. And then to hold this rally, which just celebrated hate even further and was all about punching down at immigrants, punching down at marginalized communities. It was just atrocious. It was honestly just disgusting, absolutely disgusting. And I hope as many Americans as possible were tuned into that and are watching these clips and are seeing what is going on. And I'm glad, it's funny that it takes moments like this for things to break through. And sometimes for other people, even though Donald Trump says the same things, but for someone else to utter his words, for them to go, oh, that's kind of messed up. It's like, yeah, well, that's what this guy's been saying the whole time. You've ignored it. But I'm happy that it is breaking through this one and that people are taking notice. I mean, we're just about a week away until Election Day, as crazy as that is. And now is the time for people to understand that the threat that lays in front of us right now is serious. This isn't Romney Obama. Okay. I'm telling you that right now. There are serious consequences if Donald Trump were to win this thing. It's so important that democracy prevails. And that's why we're fighting every single day. And that's why I know that you all are as well. Jordy, what's new?
Excited for the show tonight, brothers. Just, to that point, Brett, I'm so pissed that they brought that to the Mecca, the Garden, MSG. Think about what a unifier MSG's been, over the years with sports and concerts. And they just bring a hate rally to New York. But you know what? I always try and find the silver lining in these things. And there was some despicable things that they said there, to say the least. But you know what? It really motivated me that much more, being that we are a week out now, just to see what's at stake. It's an entire party filled with hate versus an entire party that despises that type of hatred and just wants to be pro-normal, pro-human, and pro-nice. It's unbelievable. The two differences between these parties could not be more different. And so I'm re-energized in some weird way coming off that rally, because right there, again, I know what's at stake in 7 days.
Now they're whining today, Donald Trump, and not so much Trump, but his kind of campaign is whining. Donald Trump's actually gloating about what happened at the Madison Square Garden. He posted it and reposted the Rupert Murdoch paper, the New York Post, saying it was MAGA Square Garden. So Trump loves it. But the campaign and the surrogates are whining, and J.D. Vance is whining. They're like, why are you going after us? You're calling us names. You're saying that we're hateful. Why are you doing that? Look, no one forced you to put on a hate rally, nor should we cover our eyes and close our ears, as lots of corporate media has done and continues to do, at what it is that you are doing and saying at these events. That is a choice that you make, because that is who you are, that you're going to go to the Madison Square Garden and say despicable and hateful things and punch down at all different types of marginalized communities and minority groups over and over again. That's how you're choosing to run the campaign. You could go to Madison Square Garden and lay out how you're going to help families with childcare. You can lay out a plan for tax credits. You can lay out a plan to improve our education system and not gut it and buy Trump Bibles, which is what you really want to do. You can lay out plans to expand healthcare, make prescription drug prices more affordable. You can lay out these plans to protect our veterans and make sure they get the best care. You can talk about how you're going to support our allies, how you're going to help NATO, how you're going to stop the threats of Russia wanting to take over all of Europe and use Ukraine as its first foothold into its broader plans. Wait, no, you support Vladimir Putin. You support Kim Jong-un. You support Viktor Orban. You support a coalition of authoritarians. So it is just who you are. And perhaps this has worked on the corporate media to some extent. And they're like, oh, I guess we can't be mean to them. So working the ref works. But I think one of the big October surprises, in addition to Trump October surprising himself by doing the Madison Square Garden event, is the mask off moment for the corporate media as well. We've been talking about it a ton on the MeidasTouch Network. And sometimes after we do a show where we focus on corporate media and their behavior, sometimes we huddle up as brothers and we're like, were we too whiny about the media and saying how bad they are? But we also know we had to do it and we had to call them out. But it's so obvious now that, their mask off moment is they were complicit. They were in on it. We were always wondering, wait a minute, why is this independent media network we built with three brothers and this wonderful Midas Mighty community? I'm like, why were we one of the only groups of people out there kind of telling the truth? It's an honor. It's an honor, and I feel duty bound to do. But like, where's everybody else? Oh, wait a minute. They're actually in on it. They want the oligarchy. They want the Putin style. They don't want democracy. So I think that's an important point as well. But look, I think Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign has been doing a great job actually messaging all of those issues that I discussed before about what are you going to do with healthcare? What are you going to do with education? What are you going to do with small businesses? Heck, she was there at a business in Puerto Rico, a Puerto Rican owned business, talking about those plans because she didn't know what they were going to say at the Trump rally. That's just what she's doing every day, talking about plans, not doing stunts, coming up with details. Here's how it's going to help you. Here's how it's going to help you. And I think their rapid response has been great. So here, the Vice President Kamala Harris launched this digital ad targeting Latino voters. Let's show it.
A floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean. I think it's called Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
I will never forget what Donald Trump did. He abandoned the island and offered nothing more than paper towels and insults. Puerto Ricans deserve better. As president, I will always fight for you and your families, and together we can chart a new way forward.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
I think it's important for all of our viewers out there. We'll talk throughout this episode about things that you can do, action items. One action item you can do is to make sure that anybody you know, any relative, any Latino relative, any Puerto Rican relative knows about what went down at that event. It's a simple task. You can do it through your WhatsApp, any of your modes of communication, text message, send to people so they know what is up. But let's show you what went down. I know you've seen this clip a ton right now, but you should also know that it's not a foregone conclusion that you'd be able to see clips like this. Because again, it wasn't the New York Times or other corporate media that's posted clips. The first clip of this, oh, by the way, this is what USA Today wrote about the Trump event. This is for real. This guy, Zach Anderson at USA Today, who's like deleting a lot of his tweets now because people are letting Zach Anderson know what they felt about this. Trump sticks to economy, immigration in closing pitch at Madison Square Garden. And lots of corporate media headlines kind of mirrored that and always mirrored that. Donald Trump would go to Waco, Texas, and he'd get a normal headline. Donald Trump's been consistently talking about America being a garbage can for the world and almost not a peep other than here on the MeidasTouch Network. Fortunately, over the past 2 years, we've gotten like 4.9 billion views, so more than the corporate media. So the message is getting out, but it's not a foregone conclusion this stuff gets out. So again, thank you, Asen, on our team, our senior digital editor, for clipping this. But let's play it where the surrogate for Donald Trump, this speaker, who, by the way, just so you know, Trump vetted this speech. The speaker wanted to call Vice President Kamala Harris in the speech the C word. That was in the original speech. So the campaign of Trump said, yeah, don't use that word. But they had another plan for who was going to use that word to call Vice President Kamala Harris the C word. Elon Musk's super PAC has been out there with ads that basically it says Kamala Harris is a C word. That's what they say. This is what Musk's PAC, when you see Musk up there on stage with Donald Trump, it wasn't like they told the comedian, hey, don't do it because we don't think that'll sit well. They said don't do it because Musk already took that. And Musk's PAC was the one who's doing this, or the PAC he gives money to. So they go, America, this is their closing message. And this is why when Brett goes at the beginning, this is not a normal election. Their closing message is America really can't afford a C word in the White House right now, with like a laughy face emoji with someone like who can't control their laughter emoji, so their hands over their face. Vote today. Kamala Harris is a C word, and it's a photo of her. That's what they are going with. So let me show you. This is what that surrogate of Donald Trump said. Let me just play it for you. I'm sure you've seen it by now, but let's play it.
It is absolutely wild times. It really, really is. And, there's a lot going on. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico. Okay. All right. Okay. We're getting there.
So just so you see, though, the Trump campaign's not going to remove that. They knew that was happening, and they're not going to remove that. He was just mirroring what Trump's been saying. Trump's been like, we did a split screen. Let me just show you. Here's the split screen that we did. Let's play it.
But there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico.
We're the garbage can for the world. We are. We're a garbage can. We're like a garbage can, and they dump their criminals, their people with tremendous mental problems from insane asylums, from mental institutions. They're drug dealers. They're gang members.
Okay, now here that same speaker says, these Latinos, they love making babies. Just know that. There's no pulling out. They come inside, just like they did to our country. This was the speaker at the Trump-Vance rally in Madison Square Garden. Let's play it.
I welcome migrants to the United States of America with open arms. And by open arms, I mean like this. It's wild. And these Latinos, they love making babies too. Just know that. They do. They do. There's no pulling out. They don't do that. They come inside, just like they did to our country. Republicans are the party with a good sense of humor.
Yeah, people are laughing in the audience. They find that funny. That guy's Tony Hinchcliffe. He goes by the nickname Kill Tony. He's got a history of doing all of this racist stuff. And for those listening on audio, when he said we welcome people with arms like this, he was making a hand gesture as though get away, get out. We don't want migrants here. As Geraldo Rivera posted, a floating island of garbage, referring to Puerto Rico, poisoning the blood of our nation, which, by the way, is a quote from Adolf Hitler. We have murder in our genes. One of the things that Donald Trump says is that the migrants have bad genetics that make them murderers. Then Geraldo goes, F these racists, Latino men of goodwill, have pride in yourselves and your ancestors. A vote for Trump is a vote against self-respect. I think that's a good point, too. You may have seen the interview I did earlier in the day with Carlos Eduardo Espina. And one of the things that he said to the Latino men out there, he's like, he had a funny line. He was like, look, I see some of you get disrespected, when someone talks about your sports team the wrong way. He goes, what if you were at a bar or you were out and about with your family and someone said something bad about your wife or called your kid ugly or made a comment like that? He goes, I know the Latino men I hang out with, you would be livid. I said, so why are you letting Donald Trump and J.D. Vance and this entire Trump campaign and MAGA disrespect you like this? It's about self-respect. They're literally mocking you to your face. Can't you see it? I thought it was a brilliant point by him. I want to show you, though, what he also, that same individual was making jokes about, horrific statements that they were claiming, it was just a joke. But he was talking about black people eating watermelon. I think, do we have that one, Brett?
All right. Heck yeah. It's a cool black guy with a thing on his head. What the hell is that? A lampshade? Look at this guy. Oh, my goodness. Wow. I'm just kidding. That's one of my buddies. He had a Halloween party last night. We had fun. We carved watermelons together. It was awesome.
One final clip, Brett, and then I want to throw it to you. J.D. Vance responded to this today, and J.D. Vance said, I don't know, maybe these are racist jokes. Maybe they are not, he says. He goes, maybe they're not. But we need to stop getting offended by this, America. Just get over it, he says. He goes, maybe this is racist. Maybe it's not. Stop getting offended. Just get over it. Here, play it.
Now, I've heard about the joke. I haven't actually seen the joke that you mentioned, but I think that it's telling that Kamala Harris's closing message is essentially that all of Donald Trump's voters are Nazis and you should get really pissed off about a comedian telling a joke. That is not the message of a winning campaign. And most importantly, it's not the message of a person who's fit to be the president of the United States of America. And my own view on this is, look, again, I haven't seen the joke. Maybe it's a stupid racist joke, as you said. Maybe it's not. I haven't seen it. I'm not going to comment on the specifics of the joke. But I think that we have to stop getting so offended at every little thing in the United States of America. I'm so over it.
Brett.
Yeah. And can we acknowledge the irony that out of everybody in this entire election, the only person who has actually called Donald Trump Hitler is JD Vance? And this is like the line that JD Vance himself kind of trotted out there. And you see Marjorie Taylor Greene, they're calling Donald Trump Hitler. They're calling him Hitler. They're not, but he sure is following Hitler's playbook, that's for sure. And the only person who literally called Donald Trump Hitler back when he actually had a little bit of common sense was JD Vance, when he literally referred to Donald Trump as America's Hitler. I just hate the hypocrisy of these people who always try to silence voices that they disagree with. And then when any of this stuff blows up in their face, they always just make excuses after excuse after excuse. The propaganda machine just goes into like crazy mode right now. They're like, my favorite of these lies was like, I can't believe you're so mad. He was obviously just highlighting the trash problems that Puerto Rico has with their trash facilities. Yeah, no, actually, no, good try, but no, I'm sorry. I hate this MAGA movement so much, and it extends far beyond anything even political. It extends far beyond even any one policy or anything. I hate the way they lie. I hate the way they cheat. I hate the way they make excuses for every little thing. I hate the way that they project and try to spin everything. And it always seems like they're speaking about themselves when they're speaking about other people. These people have zero self-awareness whatsoever. And they have no shame whatsoever. And it is just so incredibly frustrating watching these people day in, day out do this sort of thing. And that's why, there's so many reasons why this election is so important, but that is one of the reasons as well. We need to put an end to this nonsense. This is not the party of personal responsibility. They've abdicated that a long time ago. They are not that at all. The Democrats are the party of personal responsibility. The Democrats will happily admit if something's wrong, if they could do something better. That's kind of part of the DNA right now of the party, and it's a big tent coalition. But then you have these just fascist maniacs on this other side, these creeps, these weirdos. And I'm sure we'll get to some of these other clips soon to show you some of these creeps and weirdos who really want to control your lives in the most heinous of ways. And behind those jokes, there are serious actions that these people want to take that are actually going to seriously harm these communities. And by the way, I hate these comedians as well who call themselves comedians and just project all this hate at people nonstop. This is not the comedy that I grew up with. These are not the comedians that I respected growing up. It's just such a virulent strain of kind of comedy right now that has gotten popular. And I just hate it so much that they are kind of siding with this fascist movement and they are propping up this fascist movement right now. That's not comedy. That's you want to act like you're like sticking it to the man or that you're anti-establishment. You are literally siding with the establishment while they are trying to pursue one of the greatest atrocities in the future. Like they are telling you, we want to take people out of their homes. We want to rip them out, have police, have military, sick them on our citizens. They're telling us all this horrific stuff that they're going to do. And you're up there making jokes and normalizing it and inviting these people onto your podcast. It's like, enough is enough. All you need to take some damn personal responsibility for your actions. I'm so sick of it.
Perfectly put, B. And then these comedians, then they get mad, right? It's like, bro, you're not at the Cellar. You're not at the Laugh Factory. You're not at one of these comedy clubs, and nor would it be funny even if you were there, but you're not even there. You're at a hate rally. And now you're projecting hate that aligns with this political ideology and this movement. Of course, people are going to get pissed. Don't go all of a sudden, cancel culture this. They're trying to cancel. That's not what it's happening here. You're at a hate rally, aligning your own hateful views with hateful people. So of course, people are going to be mad. It's absolutely absolutely nutty.
You know,
and then real quick. So have you guys noticed what these Republicans just do all the time now, like the JD Vances and whatnot? When there's a very viral moment or a video or a clip, they go, I haven't seen the clip yet, but here's the thing. And then they talk about every little like fabric of the clip. How do these followers just allow themselves to be lied to at their face? Like, JD, you've obviously seen the clip. So what are we even doing here? Like, just just be a human and respond to it, condemn it. And then let's move forward with society in a positive way. But that's not what this MAGA movement's based off of. It's based off of hate, and they'll never do that. And they'll never pull themselves up by their bootstraps. This isn't your mother's Republican Party. Absolutely bonkers.
And they can't condemn it because this is who they are. And this is who Donald Trump is. And Donald Trump has remade this party in his image. And that's what we are seeing out there. You know, when I worked at the Ellen DeGeneres show, you know, she had a warm-up act that would come on before the show would start. They'd have somebody hype up the crowd, do some trivia, throw up some shirts, right? And when you go to comedy shows, they have warm-up acts for the main thing. They're supposed to get the crowd loose, having fun. What you see at this Trump event is a warm-up act for an act that's about hate. And so they have to whip the crowd into a frenzy the whole time while they lead up to that headliner act. And that's the difference between this guy doing a set at the Comedy Cellar or this guy doing this rally. He is basically acting as Donald Trump's hate fluffer in a way. And that's what he is doing at that rally. And that's what Elon Musk is doing. That's what Tucker Carlson is doing. It's all about riling these people up. I think ideally with the end goal of violence, quite frankly.
I agree with you. And look, I mean, people can be moved with common purpose for the betterment of a society. And you can rally large groups to move people forward. What history also shows, sadly, is that you can rally large groups of people with a herd mentality to commit atrocities against the other. To your point, Brett, comedy is not being a fascist regime that intends to punch down. That's not comedy. Punching down at marginalized communities and mocking people who are the powerless or mocking people who are vulnerable, that's not comedy, that's bullying. And bullying should not be viewed as alpha. I always thought the alpha stands up for people, not does the bullying. And that's also one of, I think, the big problems with this MAGA movement is trying to glorify the bully who demonizes and makes fun of and mocks the other versus standing up for our fellow Americans. Let's take our first quick break of the show. We've got a lot more show, folks. Hang in there. We'll be right back after our first quick break.
If you make coffee at home like I do, then you have to hear about our friends at Trade. You know I'm the resident coffee snob here at MeidasTouch, and I would not steer you wrong. No matter how you brew or what equipment you use, getting your coffee from Trade is hands down the easiest way to instantly upgrade your at-home coffee game. Trade partners with the best independent roasters from across the U.S., small towns where these roasters are crafting the perfect beans you'd love to experience for yourself. And with Trade, you get their best coffees delivered fresh and roasted just for you. I've been trying some amazing roasts lately from Trade, and the freshness is unreal. You know that feeling when you open up a new bag of coffee and the smell just hits you? It's like a wave of rich, roasted goodness, and honestly, it is so much better than going to the store. Every time a new bag shows up in my mailbox, I feel like it's like a holiday. I'm always so excited to see what roaster it's from and to try something new. Over 435,000 people have already discovered how much better their coffee experience can be with Trade. And if you're not 100% happy with your first bag, they'll replace it for free. I mean, what's better than that? Don't settle for okay coffee. Head to drinktrade.com/Meidas to receive your first bag free. That's drinktrade.com/MEIDAS to get your first bag free with any new subscription. Today's episode is brought to you by Ollie. Clean, fresh nutrition your dog needs in 5 flavors they'll absolutely flip over. Feeding your dog real whole foods with minimal processing is one of the best choices you can make for their health. A whole fresh food diet has been proven to extend your dog's life by 2.5 years. Who wouldn't want more time with their best friend? Ollie's recipes have no harmful fillers, no preservatives, and are made in U.S. kitchens with ingredients sourced from trusted growers and producers around the world. And And because Ollie's meals are gently cooked, they don't need preservatives. It's fresh, real food. With protein-first recipes like fresh beef with sweet potatoes, fresh turkey with blueberries, and fresh lamb with cranberries, Ollie might just have your dog eating better than you. Here's how it works. Take a 30-second quiz about your dog on Ollie's website, and they'll create a customized meal plan based on your dog's specific needs. Ollie then sends your dog starter box with 2 weeks worth of meals, plus a guide on how to transition them over. You could even choose from 3 meal plans to fit your dog's diet. And can I be real with you for a second? My dog Mochi is the best. She's the sweetest, most playful, loving Shih Tzu in the world. She's also one of the most stubborn eaters in the world. And if the food I give her isn't up to her standards, she lets me know. So anytime I introduce something new to her, it's the ultimate test. Since I've been giving her Ollie, she's been licking the bowl clean. I've been giving her the chicken dish with carrots and the lamb with cranberries, and she absolutely loves it. And right now, Ollie is offering an amazing deal, 60% off your first box of meals when you subscribe. Just head to Ollie.com, tell them about your dog, and use the code Meidas to get 60% off your first box. That's OLLIE.com, promo code Meidas, MEIDAS. They even offer a clean bowl guarantee, so if you're not satisfied, you get your money back.
So when we started the MeidasTouch Network, an online store was the furthest thing from my mind. Now we're able to bring you the best pro-democracy merchandise, and it's so easy. And it's all because I use Shopify. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business, from the launch your online shop stage to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit a million orders stage? Shopify is there to help you grow the same way it helped us grow at the MeidasTouch Network. Whether you're selling scented soap, sounds good, or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell everywhere. From their all-in-one e-commerce platform to their in-person POS system, wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. Shopify helps you turn browsers into buyers with the internet's best converting checkout, 36% better on average compared to the other leading commerce platforms, and sell more with less effort thanks to Shopify Magic, your AI-powered all-star. We use Shopify at store.meidastouch.com, and I know you know how seamless that is, and it's completely revolutionized everything we do. It allows us to easily manage our shop, view analytics, provide the best customer service, and streamline our entire online shopping experience from A to Z. We wouldn't be able to bring you all the products you know and love without Shopify, and we can't speak highly enough about Shopify. Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the US, and Shopify's the global force behind Allbirds, Rothy's, and Brooklyn, and millions of other entrepreneurs like MeidasTouch of every size across 175 countries. Plus, Shopify's award-winning help is there to support your success every step of the way, because businesses that grow with Shopify. So sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Meidas, all lowercase. Go to Shopify, SHOPIFY. So go to shopify.com/Meidas now to grow your business no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/Meidas.
Let's go. Some wonderful products, folks, and some wonderful services. Links in description of both audio and the YouTube. Click them, use the codes, let them know we sent you. It's really, really helpful. You guys are the best.
Let's talk about what also went down at this racist Trump event in Manhattan. I'm not sure else how to describe it, at Madison Square Garden. You had Stephen Miller, Donald Trump's advisor, give a speech who literally kind of echoed. We wonder, like Donald Trump, Adolf Hitler. Donald Trump uses lots of lines that just sometimes tweak America for Germany, but like they're like word for word Hitler quotes. And back 2 years ago, we started noticing like these are actually like not like similar, like direct Hitler quotes and weird phraseology, like things that people don't talk about, poisoning the blood, the enemy from within. You know, there's a whole list that we showed the similarities, and we all know that Stephen Miller is one of Donald Trump's speechwriters, probably the main speechwriter. So when Stephen Miller gave his speech after the other speakers called Puerto Rico a floating piece of garbage and said horrific things about Latinos, and there are other speakers who were like literally just using the F word like over and over again and cursing at migrants, like just standing up using the F word and cursing. And you had like people speaking in tongues, like holding a cross and calling Vice President Kamala Harris the Antichrist. Then Stephen Miller comes in, and you see some, for those who are watching, we have one of the speakers who was holding the cross and screaming, "She's the Antichrist! She's the Antichrist!" I mean, that's what's going on. That's what this MAGA movement is. I'm like, what? I'm like, what is this? Anyway, here's Stephen Miller using the quote was that Adolf Hitler used is that Germany is for Germans and Germans only. Stephen Miller does his version of it. America is for Americans and Americans only. Play this clip.
The cartels are gone. The criminal migrants are gone. The gangs are gone. America is for Americans and Americans only. One man. And that man, ladies and gentlemen, that man took a bullet for you. He took a bullet for democracy.
I don't even think he took a bullet. Like, let's be real. We did a video on this. Donald Trump, you saw the Joe Rogan interview where Rogan, who's familiar with does a lot of work with UFC fighting, goes, "Can you show me the injury on your ear?" And then Donald Trump's like, "Yeah, you see it right here." And Rogan's like, "No, I don't see it. Look, I think a serious incident happened at Butler, Pennsylvania. I do. I take it very seriously. I condemn political violence and all its machinations. It should be noted the shooter was a MAGA guy, was a young white MAGA guy from Pennsylvania, which is important. So whenever they're like, "Oh, they tried to do it," it's your own guy. He's a MAGA guy. And also, Donald Trump didn't produce his medical records, while, by the way, Donald Trump supports MAGA policies of seizing women's medical records so he can track women's periods to determine if they should be arrested if they seek reproductive care and to prevent them from crossing state lines. That's actually what Donald Trump's MAGA allies in states like Texas are doing, and other MAGA allies are trying to do. But Trump didn't release his medical records. And if you're hit by an AR-15 bullet in your ear explodes, okay? It's not like a Nerf gun, okay? An AR-15 bullet is big. It will explode your freaking ear. So he even lies about that, and then he sells things about it. He sells assassination edition sneakers for $300. They sell bulletproof whiskey glasses for like $50, and all of these fake gold coins with the image of him. It's just ridiculous stuff. Anyway, I digress there. But then the next speaker Donald Trump has up is Alina Habba, Donald Trump's lawyer. Now, the behavior of Trump's lawyers, the ghoulishness and the clownishness. I mean, just for me as a lawyer, it's something that is just so sad and disappointing. So for those who are on audio right now, we're not playing the music because she's listening to songs that are copyrighted, hip hop songs. The song "When Everybody Hands Go Up."
She's doing that. Ben, she's doing all I do is win, and all she's done is lost. Like there's the irony right there, and this alternate universe that they create is simply represented by her walkout music. All I do is win, when she quite literally owes over $1 million in sanctions, lost all of Donald Trump's cases, and she's sitting there walking out like a clown, acting like some hero who is like an amazing attorney, dancing, flipping her hand around, wearing a sparkled 45 jacket that says MAGA on it. I mean, look at this clown. This is ridiculous.
And again, this is a lawyer who's supposed to be representing the leader of an American political party who's out there like gyrating on stage and like dancing to "All I Do Is Win, Win, Win," when you, Brett, to your point, have lost every single case. So then you go out and you take the stage, and let me show you what she says as like her first line to the crowd. Here, play it.
"She is some sick bastard, that Hillary Clinton, huh? What a sick son of a bitch. The whole fucking party, a bunch of degenerates."
That wasn't her, but she said something. Do we have the clip of her?
No, I had that one instead. Whoops.
Oh, well, okay, yeah. The next speaker.
They spoke a lot about Hillary Clinton at this rally.
Well, the funny, but just to be clear, and that highlights it, Brett, because I wasn't even going to call that clip. Like, the thing that people need to know.
That was like, play a clip at random. Watch how disgusting
it is.
If
you play any random clip, if you play any, okay, Brett, play. That was a random clip that we didn't mean to select. So here's the clip that we thought was controversial, but didn't make the cut of this episode, but accidentally did. Here, watch this.
I'm just picking one at random right now.
Pick that one.
Oh, okay.
"She is some sick bastard, that Hillary Clinton, huh? What a sick son of a bitch. The whole fucking party, a bunch of degenerates, lowlives, Jew haters, and lowlives. Every one of them. Every one of them.
Yeah, my point was that was the random one that you accidentally you put that instead of Haba. Haba says something similar. She doesn't curse. She goes, Haba goes, I've got my... You have the Haba clip now?
Yeah, let's do it.
You see, I put my MAGA jacket to trigger Hillary Clinton. There you go, Hill.
Oh, and then if you're like, that's like some weirdo WWE stuff. Well, they got that too. They then have Hulk Hogan, who shows up with no sleeves on, you know, because he was their keynote speaker at the RNC. He got the big speaking gig. Then he ripped off his shirt and he goes, "The Hulkamania needs to tell you that if you don't vote for Trumpamania." Here, let me just play. This is what Hulk Hogan said yesterday. He was one of the key speakers as well. Let's play it.
When I hear Kamala speak, it sounds like a script from Hollywood with a really, really bad actress.
Okay, now here's the thing. I don't even know, like, what is this? Like, I truly mean this sincerely. Like, what the hell is this? And this is where, you know, I speak to those who used to be part of the Republican Party, or maybe you still consider yourself Republican, but not this MAGA thing. I speak to all the independents out there. Of course, I'm speaking to my progressive Democrats and liberals, but I think that I think you get it. And by the way, I think my independent friends and my Republican friends, who I have a ton right now of get it. The point about this show, and often when I do speaking engagements and I talk about this network, I go, look, I actually don't view the MeidasTouch network as a political network. Like, well, you're like one of the biggest political networks out there. And I go, that's how you people label it. I go, but to me, this is like just human nature network. And I'm simply trying to navigate a crazy world and assess who's coming up with ideas. Maybe I even disagree with the ideas, but who are the ones talking about things with details, with intelligence, with facts? Who are the people who are compassionate? Who are the people coming with facts? And that's a big deal. Like, our political system used to be both parties had facts and details and plans. And here's how I'm going to do it. No, here's how I'm going to do it. But we got to do this. And here's how we're going to. And now it is like this dystopian, weirdo, bizarro episode of some sicko reality show of Donald Trump's sick, twisted, demented brain that's taken over a political party. And it's worse than Idiocracy. I went back, I watched the movie Idiocracy. Right now, MAGA is far more idiotic than Idiocracy. And it's happening right now. It truly is. It truly is. Go play this Hulk Hogan thing one more time. I want to be clear. This is Donald Trump's closing message to the American people. Hulk Hogan going up there and like, I don't know what he's doing here. Play the clip.
When I hear Kamala speak, it sounds like a script from Hollywood with a really, really bad actress.
Okay, now can you just say that Elon Musk takes the stage? I'll talk more about. I'll talk about him in a more, but here, look, kind of show you. Just do so. Elon Musk talks about being Gothic. He's big Gothic MAGA. Here, play that clip first.
I'm not just MAGA. I'm dark Gothic MAGA.
And then he goes and he just starts making like noises. Here, play this clip. You know, and again, what is going on here? Okay, now
what are we doing here, folks?
What are we? I mean, truthfully,
with the Hulk Hogan thing, I'm just upset. Maybe we should have Tom Lamas on the podcast so he could tell us how exhilarating that moment truly was. I'm never going to get over that, Lamas. Never going to get over it, buddy.
I think the three of us might be the only people who know what you're talking about.
Yeah, maybe two of you. I don't even know what you're talking about. Anyway,
he's talking about the NBC reporter who, after the RNC, was like, after Hulk Hogan spoke, was like, Hulk Hogan just delivered what may have been one of the best convention speeches of all time. That was just incredible. And we were like,
Midas Mighty know exactly what I'm talking about.
Brett, you got
heads in the sky. But
Brett, during the next break, you gotta pull that clip. We'll pull Hogan and then NBC's report on it. With just, you're right. I remember. I'm like, what is going on here? I want to show everyone something pretty cool. MeidasTouch is now making films. That's pretty cool. And we've been debuting a lot of different films, some that you may, that you may know that we're affiliated with. And we've become a production studio of these great projects to try to find them homes. So as soon as this episode ends, we're going to be loading in the movie called Fight Like Hell. It's directed by John Long, and it has never before seen footage of the January 6th insurrection. When we come back, I'm going to talk about what Trump's new January 6th plan is, which he tried to do back then and wasn't able to do, but he's talked about it during this Madison Square Garden event. He says that him and MAGA Mike Johnson have a secret together. We know what that secret is, so I'll explain to you what it is and what he's trying to do and how to stop it. But make sure you all watch Fight Like Hell. It's an incredible movie. It's free. We're bringing it to you here on the MeidasTouch Network for free, and it's something that you should share with friends, family members, coworkers.
Yeah, we wanted to make sure that we got
as well so that they don't forget.
Yeah, we wanted to make sure that we got this movie out for free as far and wide as possible that we possibly could before the election. And so we're offering it for free. I mean, I think that's kind of unheard of, like who offers movies that cost a lot of money to make it for free. And so you could actually watch this. Like we're going to go to commercial break, but I just want to show you how you can watch it. First, you're going to be sent there after this automatically. But if you're not, if you just go to our YouTube channel, our normal channel page, there's a big section right on top that says Meidas Studios. There you'll see it. It says Fight Like Hell full movie. When you click it, it will play the trailer for you, and you can hit the notification button right there. And that is the exact spot where the movie will play. So Fight Like Hell. It's also in the description of this podcast. So if you check the description of this podcast, you will see Fight Like Hell. You can click on it. And by the way, if you're not watching this live with us right now, if you're listening to this the next day or watching this later, then it's available for you and to watch already. And you could just go there the same way you could go and watch it. So check it out. It's powerful. It is. I thought I saw everything, honestly, because of how much work we do with all this stuff. I'd never seen like so much of this footage. It is shocking. And as we see the kind of plans developing right now from Trump, from Mike Johnson, I think it's more important than ever that we kind of understand what their goals were then, how they were going about it, so that we know kind of what we're looking at, a few days away from the election. So that's it. I will see you right after this break. Don't you go anywhere. Hey everyone, Brett here. I've tried meal kits before, but sometimes I found they either didn't have enough options or the meals were just too complicated to put together after a long day. Luckily, I found Marley Spoon and I could not be happier. This podcast is sponsored by Marley Spoon. Marley Spoon knows bland food is boring, so they created the best tasting meal kit money can buy. And with our code MIDAS, M-E-I-D-A-S, you could get up to 25 free meals. With Marley Spoon, you could choose from over 100 delicious recipes every week, from Cajun spiced chicken to poached salmon, to butternut squash gnocchi, to a vegan burrito bowl. My favorite recent meal from Marley Spoon was their grilled pesto chicken. It was absolutely mouthwatering, easy to make, and healthy. And many of the recipes are completely customizable. So whether you're looking for vegetarian meals, family-friendly dishes, or low-carb options, Marley Spoon has the food you want to eat. They even have an in-house registered dietitian who assesses every recipe, taking the guesswork out of eating healthy. I just cooked a recipe for Marley Spoon last night. My wife and I loved it. There's something really rewarding about cooking food yourself and it tasting amazing versus doing expensive, unhealthy takeout. I'm honestly saving so much money and I'm eating healthier, better food as well. Marley Spoon also saves you from making that extra grocery haul with their online market of pantry essentials. You could shop their selection of over 125 items like seasonal produce, ready-to-heat options, meal shortcuts, extra proteins, and handy snacks, and easily add them to your next box. With meal planning and food shopping taken care of, making delicious food at home has finally become effortless. Plus, with Marley Spoon, you aren't locked in long term. Their flexible subscription allows you to edit, pause, or cancel your boxes anytime. So, experience the most personalized meal kit today with Marley Spoon. Head to marleyspoon.com/offer/Meidas and use code Meidas, M-E-I-D-A-S, for up to 25 free meals. That's right, up to 25 free meals with with Marley Spoon. One last time, that's marleyspoon.com/offer/Meidas, MEIDAS. Make sure you use that promo code Meidas so they know that we sent you. Are you interested in having hair that grows faster, stronger, and longer, having visibly thicker volume, experiencing noticeably less shedding, thicker lashes and brows? All of this is possible with Nutrafol. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand trusted by over 1 million people. See thicker, stronger, faster growing hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. Thinning hair is different for men and women, so a one-size-fits-all approach to hair growth doesn't cut it. Nutrafol has multiple formulas for men and women that are tailored to different life stages such as postpartum or menopause and lifestyle factors such as a plant-based lifestyle, so you could get just what you need. In a clinical study, 72% of men saw more scalp coverage after taking Nutrafol men hair growth supplement for 6 months, and 86% of women saw improved hair growth after taking Nutrafol women hair growth supplement for 6 months. Physician formulated with 100% drug-free ingredients, Nutrafol supports healthy hair growth from within by targeting key root causes of thinning: stress, hormones, aging, nutrition, lifestyle, and metabolism through whole body health. While many supplements rely solely on ingredient studies, Nutrafol clinically tests final formulations to ensure their efficacy. Get a result you could run your fingers through. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code Meidas. Find out why over 4,500 healthcare professionals and stylists recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. That's Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code Meidas. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code Meidas, MEIDAS.
Let's go. Links in description of both YouTube and audio. Click the links, use our codes, let them know we send you fabulous products right there. Brett, excellent read. Benji, we're talking behind the scenes here. You remember Lamas now. You were you were tired or something, right?
I remember the ridiculous.
I remember Lamas.
I mean, I don't remember his name was Lamas. If you would have told me,
I gotta fact check this.
That there was the NBC reporter who beclowned himself by saying that Hulk Hogan gave a great speech. That's what would have helped me remember it. But here, this is one of the things too, when we were like, okay, like we have to criticize the media for this stuff. Like, what else am I supposed to do? So Hulk Hogan gives the keynote speech at the Republican National Committee, got like the key spot that where you're supposed to put on a speaker who like really speaks to here's what we're going to do for the country. So Hulk Hogan did this at the RNC. Play this clip.
All you lowlifes, all you scumbags, all you drug dealers, and all you crooked politicians need to answer one question, brother. What you gonna do when Donald Trump and all the Trumpomaniacs run wild on you?
So we all were talking as brothers then. And this is where like the corporate media was all like, Biden's the worst human being ever to like they were like up Trump's, defecating butthole all the time. The media was like loving it. They were like, and we were all like thinking, we're like, okay, guys, they're clearly going to mention that was freaking crazy, right? Like we know that was one of the craziest things objectively we've ever seen. All right. I'm going to turn on NBC because, who knows what CNN's going to say. Let me just try NBC. They'll give it to me straight, right? Press play, and this is what NBC does.
This hurts.
People like Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan gave what I would say is probably the best speech at this convention so far, and there have been speeches that have blown the roof off this place. People who love the conservative politics here, who love MAGA. Hogan came in here, he did something completely different. He also was just entertaining, right? He was funny, he made people laugh, and even if you don't care for the politics here, he might have entertained you. And on top of that,
Llamas! I've never going
so many things he said too. He was like, this is what the conservative audience wanted to hear. That's not conservative. And then he goes, even if you're not into politics, and this gave but this is a political convention. This whole thing that your job, Llamas, is you cover politics. Okay, like that's your beat. It's like if we were to be covering a baseball game and they started playing soccer. And then they were like, well, look, if you didn't like baseball, there was a really great game that was being played. He kicked the baseball really far, scored some goals, different game. Okay. What Hulk Hogan was doing there, and go back and watch the movie Idiocracy. It's right out of the clip where the guy.
Idiocracy does not go far enough when you look at what's going on here. And here's the stressful thing too, because when you look at the way he even framed all of that, and to your point, when he was like, and for people who don't even care about politics, let me explain something. Like, do you understand what politics is? Like, because this is actually about how are we going to improve people's lives? How are we going to ensure people get health care? How are we going to ensure people get a good education? How are we going to ensure people are able to pay their next bill? Like, these are actual issues that affect people's lives on a day-to-day basis. So when you say, oh, well, he sure entertained people, very conservative, that's not what this is about. This should be a convention where somebody is contrasting themselves with their opponents, that they are giving their ideas on how they are going to improve the lives of Americans. And it's like every single day we have to watch the media do this horse race game where they treat it all like it's a WWE event. So then you have an actual wrestler go on stage and they're like, hell yeah, this is the way, this is how we've been covering it. So perfect. This fits in with our view of what politics is. This is perfect. And so that's how you get that coverage. There's this Politico thing every day right now that drives me up the wall where they do who won.
Just for our listeners, it really does drive Brett crazy.
Yeah. You should see my chats. I'm like, honestly, not pleasant. But Politico does this thing every day. They go, who won the day? And it's like Trump 95% of the time. And like Trump could like take a poop on the stage and they'll be like, who won the day? Trump. Did you see that poop? Everyone was talking about that poop. And I'm like, Kamala Harris held a meeting with business leaders. Kamala Harris gave a speech in front of 30,000 people in Houston, Texas. She got endorsed by this person, that person. And they're like, well, Trump got the Trump. We like talking about the poop. And I'm like, I don't understand. Like, what are we doing here? Once again, I keep saying it this episode, but what are we doing here, people?
Okay, I want to show this clip because this is going viral. There's a whole trend. There's two big viral trends that actually warm my heart, because this is also the election where we, the people, have also taken back the power. People are aware what the corporate media is doing. So people have been doing things, whether they're creating media companies like the MeidasTouch network to try to fill the void and not only compete with, but beat the corporate media. But people are also getting out the message and getting out the truth. And there are these viral trends. One of them is it's usually a couple. And, first it'll be a woman who will say, my boyfriend or husband. She goes, I'm canceling out the vote of my boyfriend or husband. And then you swipe and they go, psych, my boyfriend doesn't hate me. My husband doesn't actually hate me. And like this one, point of view, leaving the polls. And we didn't cancel each other's vote out because I didn't marry a man who hates me. And there's a lot of kind of viral clips of that, and a lot of men stepping up, because all the corporate media wants to show is this stereotype of, men, Trump voters, usually white male Trump voters, who are so in the MAGA movement. So I think it's helpful to see, not all men hate women. And in fact, a lot of men love women and care about women. And we don't want to vote for someone who literally brags about molesting and sexually assaulting and raping women. Like, that's not someone who we support. We're not cool with someone who takes away the women who we love in our lives, or just women in general, their rights away. We're not okay with that. That's not alpha. That's not freaking cool. That doesn't make you a man to hurt women. Quite the opposite. So there's this other one, though, of young ladies, some Gen Z, who are listening to the first time to Donald Trump's words, where Donald Trump brags about sexually assaulting women. And these viral videos, as the girls, the young ladies rather, are reacting to Trump saying this, there's usually a text across that says, this is who fathers with daughters are voting for. And I think about that crowd at the Madison Square Garden, and those are the fathers and mothers and family members, right, who have women in their life. And this is who they're voting for. Let me show you this trend that's gone viral.
Moved on her, and I failed. I'll admit it. Whoa. I did try and fuck her. She was married.
That's huge news there.
No, Nancy. No, this was marriages. And I moved on her very heavily. In fact, I took her out furniture shopping. She wanted to get some furniture. I said, I'll show you where they have some nice furniture. I took her out furniture. I moved on her like a bitch, but I couldn't get there. And she was married. Then all of a sudden, I see her. She's now got the big phony tits and everything. She's totally changed her look. I better use some Tic Tacs just in case I start kissing her. You know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. You just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the pussy. I can do anything.
Pull the ham.
Yeah, I've played sports. Brett and Jordy have played sports. I've been in locker rooms before. That's not how guys talk in locker rooms. That's not how the men who I've hung out with my entire life ever talk or speak like that. And for those listening on audio, you have these young ladies listening to it. There's two young ladies in that video, and they're hearing him say these words, and you can see how sickened they get by that. And then there's text across it. There are fathers with daughters who are voting for that. I mean, we also have the photo when Donald Trump would mock the disabled reporter as well. And Donald Trump like mimicked the disabled reporter's disability and just mocked the guy. And again, like, that's not comedy. That's not funny. That behavior is how we would teach our not to behave. And that's the leader of the Republican Party. And now you take a look at what you're seeing there. I don't know, were you able to hear me now? Was my back in action?
You cut out for a quick sec, but you're back now.
You take a look at the people. Do we have the back of that pickup so we can see, like, you know, the type of imagery out there that people have of, like, for those listening on audio, you got the people going to Trump events with Trump flags, not American flags, Trump's on the flag. And then the back of the pickup is wrapped with a photograph of Vice President Kamala Harris being bound and gagged and hogtied as though she's being trapped by a serial killer getting ready to murder her. As I look at these images there, I go, this is what the MAGA movement has become. This was a story that went viral, and J.D. Vance reposted it. He said, what a patriot. So there was this lady who was at this voting site. Here's the story. Went to an early vote today. There's no political merch allowed when you go to these voting sites. And there's a sign that says you can't go with a vote for this person when you vote. So a woman comes in wearing all of her Trump MAGA gear, and they say, look, you can't wear that. I'm sorry. You know, you want to turn your shirt inside out, or can you wear something to cover it up? She then, this lady wearing the MAGA stuff, goes to one poll worker and calls him a dickhead, and then rips her shirt off so her bra's being exposed and she's basically undressed. Then she tells the other poll worker to suck her C word, and this is why she votes Trump. She goes, suck my C word. This is why I'm voting Trump, because of you. Now, J.D. Vance sees this story and he reposts it and says about this lady who says, suck my C word, you are a dickhead. He goes, what a patriot. That's what J.D. Vance says. This is not a patriotism. This is, again, why I don't care. It shouldn't matter what political party you are in these times. This is just wrong. This is being a bad human. This is not a patriotic act. Cursing and saying, suck my, what? That's not okay. That's not acceptable behavior about being an adult. I can't even believe we're in an election where basically what I'm saying to you is there's only one candidate who behaves like an adult, and that's Vice President Kamala Harris. You don't even have on the Republican side behavior that is deserving of employment anywhere, yet alone the highest position. employment anywhere. You would not hire people who acted like Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, like in any one of your jobs. That's not how we behave as human beings. Like, again, think about that pitch I'm making. Only one party has candidates behaving like civilized human beings, and that's Kamala Harris and Governor Wolf. We can get into all the policies. I mean, we'll talk about policy. Donald Trump and J.D. Vance want to get rid of Social Security. All independent analysis says Social Security runs out in 6 years under Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. So think about where you are right now. If you're getting Social Security, think about right now if you paid into the system and you're about to get Social Security. Gone. See you later. Does that shock you? It shouldn't, because Donald Trump's bankrupted everything that he's touched. Why wouldn't he bankrupt Social Security with his plans that make no sense? And he goes around, I'm going to tariff them 3 million bajillion %. And you know what? I'm going to do no taxes. I'm not even going to have things called taxes anymore. Well, it's okay. Well, we know what your actual policies were. We know that you don't even know what a tariff is. And we know you're going to bankrupt Social Security. Conservative think tanks have said he'll bankrupt Social Security. So if you don't want Social Security, go Donald Trump's guy. But we don't even have to get into the issues, because they're not even behaving like civilized human beings. They're posting that a woman who says, suck my C word to a poll worker is a patriot. That's not a patriot. And you're going out of your way to repost and amplify that behavior. By the way, this is MAGA behavior going on all across the country. You go to Bexar County in Texas, and you've got this 63-year-old MAGA supporter. Again, he shows up in his MAGA hat and his Trump baseball cap, and the clerk says, I'm sorry, you can't wear that here. There are rules against this. And the guy punches the poll worker in the face, and it's like MAGA, and punches him in the face. And again, that we're hearing stories in Washington and Oregon and elsewhere of ballots being burned in kind of swing districts and in close competitive races. And again, MAGA is just enabling all of this behavior, and it's serious, and it deserves our attention. I'll leave you with this too, because Donald Trump at that hate rally in Madison Square Garden also talked about his secret plan with MAGA Mike Johnson. It's a moment that deserves extra attention, because right now what they're saying openly and publicly is they are plotting a coup. And you go, oh, Ben, you're just saying, just listen to what he's saying. And I'll explain what he means, but play this clip.
And I think with our little secret, we're going to do really well with the House, right? Our little secret is having a big impact. He and I have a secret. We'll tell you what it is when the race is over.
Okay, he's referring to a contingent elector plot whereby if the MAGA Republicans win the House of Representatives, even if Vice President Kamala Harris, which I think she will win both the Electoral College, and I think she'll also win the popular vote. But if they control the House, his little secret plan, it doesn't, because they've said it before. We've read Jack Smith's documents. We know what they were trying to do on January 6th. This, by the way, I want you to watch Fight Like Hell after this, so you could remember specifically in vivid detail with footage that has never been released before what went down. I want you to show it to your family members, colleagues, coworkers. But we know the plan. He's not that smart. My little secret. So one of the reasons he was in New York is because he wants to try to help out the MAGA candidates in New York. And then he wants to try to hopefully win the House. And then he's going to want MAGA Mike to basically declare the House to be shut down. And you'll say, well, MAGA Mike doesn't have the ability to do that, and blah, blah, blah. Look, Vice President Kamala Harris will be the one who is in Mike Pence. So she'll go through the task of, no matter who wins, she'll certify the results of the election because she follows what the law is. They have bolstered the law to make any type of issues that were trying to be unlawfully exploited clear, that you can't object the way Trump tried to have all the MAGAs object last time. But Trump's little secret plan, which is not going to work, let's be clear, what he's doing right now is to basically have MAGA Mike say, oh, there's all this fraud out there. He's then going to cite the betting markets that are being manipulated as evidence that he was supposed to win when he loses. He'll be with all the markets that I was going to win, even though those are all manipulated crypto from overseas. That's, by the way, that's part of the plan, in my opinion. And then MAGA Mike's going to say, I'm not, if they control the House. If the Democrats win the House on January 3rd, a new Congress comes in, so MAGA Mike wouldn't even be able to do this. If Republicans keep the House, this is what MAGA Mike's plans to do. And you could be like, well, it's unlawful. Okay, well, the Supreme Court's a rogue entity right now that's done everything to violate the law. They don't care that MAGA Mike doesn't have the authority to shut down the House. MAGA Mike will say, shut it down. I can't do anything. I need to hear what the Supreme Court says. That's ultimately what their game plan is. So it's two-pronged, and it requires them to win the House of Representatives as well, then to try to get the Supreme Court to overthrow it. That's their secret plan. Their secret plan is patently unlawful. It's not what the 12th Amendment says or allows. But I just want you to be cued in that January 6th, because of the spinelessness of Kevin McCarthy and Mitch McConnell and all of these Republicans who said the reason they weren't going to convict in the Senate is because they were going to be supportive of criminal action against Donald Trump. Well, we've seen them show their true colors, and they're out there supporting raw, unadulterated fascism right now. So you go, don't call me names, don't call me names. Don't try to destroy my democracy. Don't try to destroy we the people, our democracy, and I won't call you the names that fit the description of who you are and how you are behaving. So I leave you with the closing message of, have you voted? Have you told people in your life to vote? Have you done everything that you can do? Have you left it all out there on the field? Have you left it all that? Because that's all we can do from now until the election. Being nervous is okay. I want to let you know I feel good about this, but my feels and vibes don't matter. All I know is that from now until the election, every day, I'm going to put in work. I'm okay if you have your nervous energy. I'm okay. But this community that you've built is the most powerful. I want you to think about what you're a part of. You are a part of the most powerful political community in the United States and potentially the world that you built. So flex that power now. You didn't build this just because you like hearing me, Jordy, and Brett make fun of each other from time to time, okay? You built this so you can take action. That's why you built this. And now's the time to share the videos, to make sure people in your life are voting, drive people, do your thing. Do your thing right now. And then tell me in the comments what it is that you've done. Have you convinced a Republican to vote for Harris? Have you convinced independents to vote for Harris? What have you done? I want to hear in the comments. I want to remind everybody that in a few moments, we are going to be playing Fight Like Hell. So I want you to watch that. And you can share that video with people. Remind them of what went down on January 6th. Remind them of that never before seen footage that we're going to be showing. I want to remind everybody, patreon.com/MeidasTouch is a place that you can go and support the growth of this independent media platform. Next Monday, we will be holding a live meeting for our patrons. That will be the last time we do a meeting before the election. So if you want to come to ask us questions, if you want to join just for some mutual therapy for each other, join us. We'll be announcing the specific time, but there'll be a secret link. So you go to patreon.com/MeidasTouch. We'll post that link. Then next Monday, we'll see you at that meeting. And we're not going to do an after show today. We're just going to keep promoting that Patreon just because I think that right now, we're just going to, after the show, we're going to go out there and continue to do our part to make sure we're getting as many people out there as we can. So sign up, though. We're going to do that meeting with all of you next week. And I want to try to have like 1,000 people at that meeting. You know, usually we get a few hundred. I want to get like 1,000 people at that meeting. I want I want to all be in this together. Patreon.com/MeidasTouch. Brett, anything else you want to say before we go?
The final pep talk. That's going to be big right there. Stay positive, stay optimistic. I know there's a lot thrown at you every single day, but try to take any anxiety that you have, like Ben said, and turn it into action. That's really all you can do, because anxiety often comes from like the things we can't control in life. So redirect that into things that you actually can control, which is getting out the vote, which is speaking to your friends and your family members, and and that's the game, right? That's what's on the line right here. That's what we all have to be doing. So please do that. Please also share all your stories with us. One of the things that I really love is reading our comments and seeing your voting stories, getting kind of your word from on the ground of what the vibes were like at the polls, or what your Republican uncle is doing this election cycle. There's a lot of interesting insights that we've been able to draw even just from your anecdotal stories. So please share all that. Subscribe to the MeidasTouch Podcast anywhere you get audio podcasts. We're top 25 in the world right now. I noticed earlier today. That's pretty awesome. Thanks to all of you. And yeah, that's really it. I feel good about this pro-democracy community. So let's take this home, everybody. We're all in this together. Jordy.
Shout out to the Midas Mighty!
The Midas Mighty standing strong against the fascists. We sing our song. We will get it right whenever.
Hey Midas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.